special bonus session for engineer computations to learn how to do something different, something useful for perhaps your online presence or creating a website for a student club or a project that you want to show off. That's the idea. Let me start by sharing some slides to explain what this is all about. The topic today is how to use GitHub Pages to create an online resume, but of course you can use it to create any sort of website, as I will show you. And it's free, and you have a lot of free themes that you can use, and you can start from and slowly build up to create not only an online resume, but other things like a blog, for example. And it uses both things here. I've already shared the slides via a link to a Google Slides document. These are active links. So the two things that we're going to be using are GitHub Pages and something called Jekyll. Jekyll is what's called a static site generator. What does it mean, a static site generator? It means that you write the content of your website into Markdown files. And then, since we know already Markdown from using Jupyter Notebooks, then it shouldn't be too hard to understand how to build your content. And then Jekyll converts your content into a website that can be rendered by GitHub Pages for free. And here are going to be a few examples of Jekyll themes to give you some feeling for what you can do. And all of these are found on GitHub, searching with the keyword Jekyll theme. And as you can see, there are almost 2,000 of them. So I spent quite a bit of time just clicking through to choose a few that look nice, but you can go down the rabbit hole and to look for the inspiration for just the right thing that you have in mind. Here is one. It's called Alfolio. That is just the template there with Einstein's picture, but the idea is you would be able to pick that as a template to start with, put your picture, your address, your description, your news, and you can probably also change the default colors somewhere and adapt that styling to your liking. Here is a simple one called Beautiful Jekyll that I'll show you a few examples. This one can help you create something like that, where you have a navigation at the top, some description, maybe news and updates, and maybe a blog, a set of publications if you're a researcher, and maybe a resume. Here's another one where the styling has been changed, but it's using the same template to start with. So again, an overview and different navigation, different topics there at the top, projects, about me, and presentations. And here's another one. A staff research scientist at Spotify has her own profile online. She's changed the styling, but it's using the same template to start with. And she's also changed the categories of the sub-content areas of her site. These are all using Beautiful Jekyll, that template. But there are other. This one called Hide. I thought it was quite interesting with that side column. Here's another one, more online resume looking one that you can start with. Of course, change all of the details there. You can change the colors as well. Here's another profile one that I thought was interesting, a simple looking portfolio, academic portfolio. And that's the one I used. Starting this weekend, I picked that resume template and I adapted it to do my online resume, and it took me a couple of hours. Now, if you go online and you find these templates, you will find instructions that are focused on local development. What does it mean, local development? It means you copy all the files to your computer and you start changing them on your computer, and you build the site on your computer, and then you publish it somewhere. And to do that, then you have to do a lot of kind of installing things. For example, if I'm on a Mac, and so if I wanted to install all the stuff needed there, I need to install Homebrew first, and then I need to install Ruby using a version manager. Then I need to install Jekyll. And so it becomes very wearisome to do all that. But there's an easy way. The easy way is you start with a template, and I'm going to ask you to do this in a moment. We're going to pick one, and you're going to just click on that fork button that I've put an arrow to. Once you do that, you're going to get at the bottom of my slide is shown a screenshot of what you will get, which is the option to change the repository name. For example, what I did is that the resume template repository that I started from, I just deleted the word template and the slash and left resume. At that point in time, it created for me a copy of all of that starter work, and then I was able to edit it, and I will show you how to edit it in a moment. So let me stop sharing that. And I'm going to come back to some examples of how I use Copilot to figure things out. So let me stop sharing that. And maybe Adam, would you like to be a guinea pig? And I can walk you through creating a copy of that resume on your GitHub account. And let's see if people can follow along.
Yeah, we can.
Let's try that. So open up github.com. And if you are following along at home, you can open up github.com. And because I'm going to talk Adam through making the changes, I'm not just doing things on the screen that you have to follow. There's going to be a narration and there's going to be questions. So when you're ready, Adam, could you share your screen or just the browser with the page to github.com? All right, here's the template. Okay, and Adam is going to open that being logged into the GitHub account. Remember, I made you all create a GitHub account, right? Would you be able to change to the bright mode or not? That's okay. Just zoom in. Okay, zoom in. Okay, here we are. So this is the resume template. And at the top that, if you click on your avatar just to see that it's your profile on the top right, see, it's AD Carp. That's his profile. You don't need to click on anything. I just wanted you to show that you're logged in to your GitHub account. So everybody, if you could go to github.com, log in to your account, and then I've put the link on the chat so you can pull up the same web page that Adam is now showing. Adam, the next step is going to be for you to click the button that says fork. There, fork. Just click that button. Show us and don't do anything else and stay there a little bit. That is the fork button I was showing everybody. It's telling you you can create a repository name now on your GitHub account that is going to be a full copy of the resume template, but you have the option of changing the repository name. For example, I changed it by deleting template dash and calling it resume. Would you like to do that? Okay, it tells you that resume is available. You don't have another project in your GitHub account that's called resume, so that's good. And it's copying the GitHub branches. You don't do anything else but that. And now you click the green button that says create fork. Wait a little bit. So everybody, I hope that you're being able to follow along, and please unmute and ask any questions at any point. Okay, there it is, resume. You see that it says at the top, let's see, Adam, where it says resume public, a little bit lower, there it says, there, resume. It says forked from, and that is a link back to where the template was that you copied just now, right? That's all. So now, go to actions at the top there. Let me see if anything happened there. Get started with GitHub Actions. Let's see. Do you have, so you need to set up GitHub Actions for yourself because I said set up a workflow yourself. Go to settings.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if my account was already set up with Actions. Go to pages. Wait a minute, GitHub build and deploy from a branch. Click on deploy from a branch, GitHub pages. All right. Save. That's correct. That's deploying from GitHub pages. You don't need to add a domain, nothing else. Now, the question, it could be that did you create the, oh yeah, it's going. Don't worry. It's going. Now it's building a website in your account, but with the template. So there's no changes made at all, right? It's just building a website on your account with the template. And we wait because it's taking all of the content pages and it says in progress, right? Let's wait. Everybody, anyone following up to this point, or anyone stuck on a previous point, or anyone want to ask a question?
What did you click after clicking actions?
I was looking to see whether the actions were happening, but we had to go to settings and pages on the left and click on GitHub Pages to make sure that GitHub Pages GH Pages was selected. Someone tells me that they're a little bit lost on how to find the fork. So let's go back to where it says resume at the top left in your screen, Adam. Just click on the word resume. Okay. Now click on the back. That is the template. And I put that link. That is the link that I put on the chat. And then to fork, you see where his cursor is right now on the fork button. That is the button you need to click. Once you click that button, it's going to offer you the opportunity to change the name. And all we did was to change the name of the resume dash template into resume without the template word, just for kicks. All right, so let me show you. Go back now to your profile. So go back, just click on there, Adam Carp resume. Okay, that is your copy. And let's see, this branches up to scroll down just a tiny bit. And on the right, you see a green check mark that says GitHub Pages 2 minutes ago. You see that? Click on that. Click on that link. Okay, it's telling you there that it's green because it worked. Sometimes you get an error, but this time you did not get an error. There's a link there. That is the link to the web page that was just created. And you see it's the template, okay? It's the template with no changes, but it is built on Adam Karp's GitHub, right? So now he has the ability to change that because it's his copy of the repository. You can go back on your browser, go back to there we are. Okay, so now let's do the following. Now, pay attention to this great trick that's going to happen. On the address bar, and I don't know if there's any way for you to zoom in, probably not because it's not zooming into the address bar. So on the address bar, I see some questions. Let me see. I don't have the deployment area. Deployment area. In the settings, click on settings again, show settings. Make sure that you go to settings and you click on the left pages. Now, make sure that where it says branch, you select GH pages there. And that should tell GitHub that you're going to build pages from that source. Okay, now let's go back. And this is the amazing thing that's going to happen. All of the files that you copied from the template, normally all the instructions that you find online tell you to make a local copy on your machine and use all of these tools that I told you about that are going to be mysterious. Ruby, Jekyll, I don't know how to use any of those things, okay? I have no idea how to install any of those things on my machine, suppose. But I can edit the files directly on github.com using a web version of an editor called Visual Code by changing in the address bar github.com to github.dev, D-E-V, in the address bar. Instead of .com, you write .dev, .dev. Go ahead and do that. Now it's going to set up what's called a web editor, which is, you might need to sign in. Okay, so now it's showing you the markdown, resume template. You can, why is it showing you the build page? I'm not sure why. Oh, you can change the color to light mode for, ooh, look at that. Light default, that's easier to see. You can, it's showing you the Jekyll pages right away. Interesting. Okay, so on the left-hand side,
it's showing the README right now.
Yeah, the README has a screenshot. Yeah, so that's just a figure. It's a screenshot. Fine. Okay, so on the left, you see a bunch of files. The first file that sets like the settings of your website is config.yml. We pronounce it YAML. Can you zoom in a little bit? Maybe? No. Okay, good. So you see where it says resume avatar true? Just change that to false. In line 12, change that to false. Okay, and the resume name, Lisa M. Simpson, put your name. Under VP of Global Communications, put your title, Master Students. Okay, perfect. Okay, we can change the email and those things, but let's not worry about that yet. Now, the file is automatically saved by this editor. It's an online editor that's provided free in the GitHub repository, in the GitHub app. In the left, you see the little M and next to the file name, config.yaml. M means it's been modified. Okay, it's been modified. You see that? Okay. Now, because it's been modified, it's only been modified temporarily in this editor session. We're going to click in the left bar where you have a 1 in a blue bubble. That shows you one file has changed. One change is now made, but not, we use the word committed. It means that it's a change we really want to exist in the repository. So click on that now, that change. You can X that out, the message. And you can put a message, I don't know, change name, just a small change name. And you can exit that message out. The blue button, commit and push. Let's wait. Maybe add a new tab to go to the github.com resume for you, Adam Karp, /resume. Okay, let's look at that, the repository. And you see here it says change name with a yellow dot a little further down, no, up there. Change name is the change you just made with a yellow dot, which indicates that it is rebuilding the website. It's not done yet. Okay, scroll up. There. And click on actions. It just finished 43 seconds ago. So it's now been done. Okay, click on the pages build and deployment at the top link, the green check mark. There, click on that. And now it tells you the report is done. And there you see Adam Karp, github.io, click on that. Now the web page has been changed. The avatar is gone. Your name is there. None of the rest of the content has changed. You've only changed your name, but you have a live website. Now you've started to edit your online resume at your GitHub repository. And that address, if you can select all the address in the address bar, okay, select and copy it into your clipboard. Okay, go back to the repository in the middle tab, Okay, go to the root repository, click on resume at the top, left, or code, that's fine. And on the right, it says about, and click on the gear and check the address to what you just selected. That is your location for and you don't need to click save changes. Okay, now that is your location always for the finished product as it's being built. So we can start building changes into this template slowly until this is what I did over the weekend. I started changing the description, I changed the education, and where is everything? So go to the left. This is the editor. You can close config.yaml for the moment. We can go back to it and click on the left on data. That is where all of the content exists. So one of the features of this system is that you write the content on these files that just has like the raw data, and then when the website is built, this is going to be pulled from this YAML file and displayed on the web page in the area that says education. So you can change here directly following the structure that is shown, where it says degree, you put your degree, where it says uni, you put your university, the year, and you can delete awards if you don't have any. You can delete summary or put whatever you want there. And if you want another degree, you can add the whole block below and add another one. So if you change here this file, it will, and the moment that you save it and commit to your GitHub repository, it will regenerate automatically the website little by little. Let me stop here and ask for questions. Where did you find the commit and push button? Okay, so make a change to this file so we can show that again. Bachelor of Science, put the correct information here, mechanical engineering, change the university, put the year, the correct year. You can remove that. Okay, it's just 1 degree, right? Yeah, you can do that, fine, yeah, from 2. M dash is, you can put the year of the degree. And you can delete all that if you want. And then for the rest of it, you can just delete it for now. Okay, now you notice that the file on the left, education.yaml, has an M. That shows that it's modified. But also on the left column, the black column, you have that icon with the little kind of dots and lines, which indicates when is an icon that represents the changes and the evolution of changes of a file in a repository in the system that we call version control. And it shows you now a 1 in a blue bubble. It means one file has changed. You click on that. And now it tells you message. The message is some sort of like note to self on what you did. Added uni. Great. So click on the X. That's just a message. And then click on the blue button that says push commit. Now it's copying that change into, now if you renew that, okay, it says added uni. That next to your name, it says added uni. That's the message that he wrote on the change he made, because this is the way we make changes incrementally, little by little, so that we have a record of how we built the site in small increments, so that we have control over the complexity of having a big project. You see here, it's building the pages again. It's going to automatically build the pages every time you make a change. And you're going to see live the changes, so that if you build slowly, you can keep tabs on the complexity of this project, because you're doing it step by step. And if you made an error, then you're going to get their red check cross instead of the green check mark. And then you can try to, either you can actually undo a change, or as you can see now, if you scroll down, education, reload, maybe it's not done yet, but it has a little, it says that it's deployed. Sometimes your browser could cache things or something like that, but let's try it. There. No, it's changed. Education. Just reload. At some point it's going to be, or open it in a new window and a new, it should have changed. As you can see, let's look at this. Go back to, oops, you close the tab. There, go back to the GitHub, okay, the resume, okay. And click on data. It says 2 minutes ago you made the change, right? On the data folder. If you scroll down a little bit, data folder, it says added uni. And you can see there that education has your change. So it's taken a little while for maybe your browser to show you the updated website, but it is definitely changed. Reload, Shift Command R for Shift Reload. It definitely has. There we go. Okay. There's a delay on, sometimes your browser wants to save effort and it's showing you a cached version and it might not see it immediately. Any other questions? You see how we made two changes already to this, and let's see if anyone wants to ask a question. So reviewing, we started with a template. We click the fork button to make a local copy, to make a copy on our GitHub account. Then we go to settings to make sure that GitHub Pages has been enabled to occur from what is called a branch. Under resume there, it says branch. This repository has only one branch. A branch is just an idea of when you can be making changes to your files. And sometimes you make changes and you're not sure that the changes are going to be definitive. So you make some changes and then you do them in a branch, which means it's like a temporary scratch space, and you can potentially roll back those changes or make them permanent. In this case, we only have one branch, so you don't have to worry about it. But we made some changes on the files. The files immediately got triggered. When you made the changes, it triggered the site to be rebuilt. And what's magical here is that we didn't have to download or work locally at all. We were able to work remotely on github.com by changing .com to .dev. And that gave us an online editor that is a professional grade editor for code projects that also we can use to build websites. So if you want to stop sharing, I'm going to share some slides again, and then to give you some examples of the things I did. This one with GitHub Copilot. Oh, I don't want to this thing to take over my screen. For some reason, I don't want full screen. Okay, that works there. So this is a template. We started with that template, make a fork with that button there. We make a fork. Then we change the repository name if we want to. We don't have to, but I changed. I thought it was better to just call it resume rather than resume template. And then change that brings a whole copy of all the files to my GitHub account, github.com/labarba. That's my copy. Okay, as seen on the screenshot there to the right. And at the bottom, I have the instructions. You change .com in github.com to .dev, and you get a live editor on the web. So that's how we started editing pages one by one without having to install anything on our computer. And then, well, we find ourselves that maybe I can edit that little YAML file, but things start getting a little complicated. And how do I work them out? Then you can start using Copilot. We're going to do some live demo, but let me show you some screenshots of what I did. First of all, I'm like, where in this repository can I edit the footer of the website? The footer said something like the name of the original author and something that I didn't want. Where do I change it? I don't know where that file is. There's so many files. So I asked GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot analyzes the contents of the site and tells me to edit the footer, you can go to a place called layout/resume.html. I had no idea that's where I was going to find that. And it not only tells me what file it is at, which is I could just click on the active link there and open that file, but it tells me look for this piece of code that says footer class equals page footer, which contains this information here. And then it says the styling for the footer is in this location. And you can edit these files to modify the footer text and its appearance. Okay, now I know where to go. So I can, again, in my tab where I have .dev instead of .com, open the file, resume.html, go to the right location and change the text of the footer right then. Then the file will be modified. Then I can commit the way we showed and so on. Then I had a question. The config.yaml file has a section for the resume social links, but I don't see these appearing on the rendered site. Can you find where these are turned off and on? GitHub Copilot tells me in the config.yaml, there is a resume print social links setting set to true, which might control where the social links are displayed. And it shows me the piece of text. So I had it set to true. So it says at the bottom, that indicates that the links are available for rendering. However, you mentioned they are not visible on the rendered site. GitHub Copilot tells me to understand where the setting is used or controlled. Here on the left, I put another screenshot. 1, search the results. Next steps, review this part. Okay. I still didn't get that. Get me some options, but that did not help. So I follow up. I said, please look into this file. So if I go back, it told me that the file told me somewhere on the left, step 2 says review layouts/resume HTML or other template files for conditions related to. Okay, I said, yes, please look into that file to see what is affecting the display of the social links. And it tells me, then it tells me, okay, I found the section where this is being set up. And then on the left piece of the screenshot, it says condition of display 1, and then 2, CSS class issue. It says the section has a class equals print only. This indicates that the social links are not non-print. So it indicates that is only going to be shown if I print the file, say print to a printer or print to a PDF, but it's not by default being shown on the website version. So I went and it says suggested fix to make the social links visible on screen. not only on print, you can remove the print only class. So I went ahead and removed that. And sure enough, I have practically no idea what is happening, but I just follow the steps slowly and I remove class equals print only. And sure enough, that section now was shown. I removed the print only from the social tags, and now I do see the social links section heading, but there's no content under it. What could be going wrong? And so it tells me some other things that could be going wrong. And in particular, I'm going to skip here where it says next step, but I'm going to show you that in particular, there's indeed a print file. Why are they not showing? I'm still having problems. And it's telling me there in the left, number 3, invalid or missing data structure. It says the file expects resume social links to be structured as a nested object under site resume. If this is misconfigured or missing, no links will be displayed. So let me go. So you see at the bottom here where it says recommended steps 1, 2. Number 2 shows me that resume social links : has underneath resume GitHub URL, resume Twitter URL. Those things have to be indented because it's a structured nested object. So social links is the heading, just like when we have a for loop in Python, everything that is done under the for loop is indented. In this case, the individual URLs had to be indented under the heading resume social links. And I went to my file and I saw that they were not. So indeed, I had an error there in my file. I don't know if it's visible here. You see here, it should have been like that, but I did not have the proper indentation in my YAML file. And once I fixed it, everything worked. And so again, I'm showing you that it is possible to find errors or to do certain changes slowly, asking GitHub Copilot for help. And even if you're not an expert, you can do much more than you can imagine if you just ask some questions and have an attitude of problem solving and moving forward until you find the errors. My last slide is to show you just what any Jekyll site expects, which is this config.yaml file, which we can go back and look at again on Adam's fork of the resume. Includes is another folder that will have the footer and the header, those things that are repeated perhaps in more than one page if you have a more complex website like a blog. Layouts will tell you how the web pages look. This is very typical and standard. Posts will include content in markdown files, for example, if you have a blog with Jekyll. And then you have the styling under SAS, and the site under dash site is where the built website will go, but that is something you don't touch because that is where it's automatically being built by Jekyll. Those are the slides that I had for today, and let me stop sharing and see if we can answer some more questions. Someone says that they're not seeing a version. So, but it's been fixed. Okay, they fixed it themselves. So for the Google Doc, if you can, the Google Doc was created on the GW workspace. So you have to be logged into your GW Google account to probably see it. So anybody with a GW Google account should be able to pull that up. And of course, the link is on Blackboard as well, so you can follow along. What questions can I answer for you about creating a website using these ideas and these tools? Anyone? Let me do this. Let's go back. Adam, why don't you go back to your sharing and let's do another change and go through the workflow one more time. Because we can show now how to use GitHub Copilot. Did you ever activate Copilot? Yeah, I think you have it. Okay, so here is your page. So what if you click on GitHub Copilot and ask, for example, where can I change the footer of the web page like I did? And GitHub is planning a response. It's looking through the files, and let's see if it helps. It didn't find it. Okay, let's see. However, you can explore this further by searching the files related to footer in the repository. Yeah, yes, we want to search. Yeah, sure, try that. It worked for me. Oh, okay, so it's now sending you to the GitHub. So it did a search. If you need help identifying or modifying the footer, let me know. Yes, I need help. I need help on how to change. So why don't you ask? I need help on how to change the text that is displayed in the footer. You have to be very specific with AI helpers. Let's see if this works. Okay, now we're cooking. To change the text displayed in the footer, you can go to the where is it? Go to the page, go to the file, layout/resume.html. Okay, so let's go back to, on your other tab, I think you have open the files, the tab that has the editor there. So on that tab, the tab that has the editor, go to that file under --layouts/resume.html. Layouts, resume HTML. Okay, now it's telling you go back to the other tab. Oh, you close it. Okay, and go back to the, hopefully the click on GitHub Copilot, and okay, it does remember what you were saying. And it says here, specifically the footer content is footer class equal page footer. So now find where in the file that you have open, just look for, you can find, or just select that, Control F there, find that, and there it is. Okay, so it says, that's the footer line. It says P, and it says made by blah, 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 blah. So that's where we want to change. If this is your live resume, you can modify or remove this part. It says right there. So you can, we don't want to remove the footer. We want to change the footer to say, would you be able to open one more tab and look at the rendered version of the resume? So go to github.com. So go, pull it up again, resume, click on the, okay, look and scroll all the way down. Okay, and maybe zoom in. You see, that's the footer. At the very bottom, it says made by, all of that is what we need to change by something that is your, maybe say just copyright, maybe just change all of that to say copyright Adam Karp. Let's go to that. So where it says P, that's a paragraph. So you can remove a paragraph, and in the other paragraph between the two P, so it's starting by the word made, ending in the dot, select all of that, delete that, and write parentheses C, copyright, yeah, and then your name, Adam Karp. Okay, so that is perhaps a simple footer that you decide you're going to use. Save it. Now see the blue bubble on the left that says there's one change? That's where add footer, okay. And click the X. I don't know why we keep getting those. Commit and push, blue button. Okay, that change is going to go to, let's look at the repository now. There, it says add footer on the left with a yellow dot. It means it's building, it's pending. Some checks haven't completed, it's doing the checks, okay. But it does know that you've changed the footer, and that is the change that is now being applied. And at some point that is going to turn from yellow to green, unless we've made a mistake. If we've made a mistake, it's going to be red, but we know where we change things, so you can go back. The trick of all this is always to make the changes incrementally in small steps, so that if you make, especially if we are not web developers, we don't know how to do HTML, and maybe we're just here tentatively making some changes, we want to make sure that the changes are very small, so that if it breaks, we can go back and do the change. In this case, we just changed the footer, and it's building. It takes a little time. Usually that might be one of the reasons they ask you to, they suggest that you build locally, because it's going to be much faster, but it doesn't matter. We don't want to go through installing many things on our computer. So we take our time, and we're doing all of the changes via the web using the web version of the editor The editor is called Visual Studio Code, or VS Code for short, by the way. Some of you I know in class were already using VS Code, but this is the web version of it. Go to Actions. And it's actually done 39 seconds ago. It wasn't updating. But again, there's a slight delay on being able to see it, but we have changed it, and eventually it'll pop up there. And that's the way we go changing slowly the content, and you could build your resume. Adam, you could have a resume working. If you have some patience, in an hour and a half or so, you could have your resume all changed to your content rather than the template content. And the same can be done with many of those other templates. And you can find Jekyll templates, like go to the search bar at the top and type Jekyll theme. And there, that's how, 6.4 thousand results, and you can find many different ones, and you can start clicking through them. On the right, you'll usually find in this one, that's the way it looks, and you can find one for the rocket team or your own personal blog. You can have many themes that you might be able to start from, and the process is going to be the same. You make a fork, then you edit slowly, piece by piece, to start building, replacing the template with your own content. Many times you'll get the instruction: download, install Ruby, install Jekyll. You don't need to do that. The easy way is to edit everything on the web. That is the bonus material, so I'd love to answer your questions. I'll stop the recording to answer your questions.